Okay, I believe this is number 13. I think this is pretty good. This is pretty good. All right, so let's go. Let's do a quick overview, a review of what we've done so far. Well, first of all, tell me what are we up to? What have we done? And what do you remember of the things that we've been dealing with and what we've been doing? Like what's up? Do you guys remember what we did last class or last session? If I run this, let's see. I'm gonna run it. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Let's see. Let's okay. How do I go to our page? You guys remember? I want to go to the game to the character creation action.
Uh, First, we access the game controller,
That's right.
and
Yes.
then we use from there. We're gonna go do the action, the create character action,
God damn it.
which will lead us to a create character view page.
I'm gonna give you a fist bump right off the bat. Again, I save them till the end, or when there's something big. But this is good though. This is a good start. Exactly. So that's the flow.
Yes.
And Dan, you got the flow too, right? You got.
I got it.
Okay, yeah. The flow is important, man. The flow is where it's at. Because once you understand the flow, it's all taste. It's all tasty.
The flow is like the matrix.
Yeah, it is, man. You get it once you understand that it's everything. Becomes kind of easier and
And
simpler.
I'm gonna build that matrix.
Well, yeah, that's what we got to do, and we could slowly but surely. Okay, so yeah, so when let's say I'm gonna create this here, so I'm just gonna create let's create a character. Let's create Dan and Warlock. And when I hit this here, okay, um, okay, then describe the flow to me of what happens when I hit here. What did we do last time? Actually, I don't know if you guys remember what we did last time because we changed the code near the end. Um, but if I wanted to find out, I'm going to ask you two things. Okay, this is a pop quiz right here. Okay. One, how do I find out what action or what happens when I press this button for this form? What action am I submitting to?
If you wanted to find out, you could hit F12.
That's right,
You
F12 in
got
it.
info for that.
Boom. So you hit F12. Normally this window would be right down here, or it could be somewhere else. Like I can just um, bring it outside, but for now I'm going to leave it here because I don't want to mess around with it too much. But yeah, so you click on the highest item or element in the form, and then you look around. Is there anything that says a form? Oh, okay, there's a form right here. So this submits to game and the process create character action. Okay, so we got the first part of my question. So process create character action in the game. So that's gonna be sort of here, isn't it? Boom. All right. So when I press this, I'm gonna press it and see. So what will happen because I set a breakpoint here? Do you guys remember?
Yeah.
So when I press this, since we're executing, it is gonna stop here. So let's see if that is correct. Boom. So remember, this is the mojo, this is the flow. It went to the game controller and the process action. And remember, since we have these fields that we're sending to the process create character action, and hopefully we're mapping them to these parameters, right? Mapping means you take the value and you put it in there on a one-to-one basis somewhat. So name, job, and age. So it did map. It did come through. So magically .NET grab all the info from the form and put them where we want them to. That's job number one. Job number one, sweet, and it is done. And then remember that we were kind of doing some kind of squirrely stuff that we're using some magic from now on, at least for now. And since we're creating a character, right? So the way we do that is we're going to create something of type person. And then we're going to fill that information with the person that we got from the form. And then we encountered something new. What was the new thing that we encountered? You guys remember, it's like magic here now. It's like super magic.
We're entering that information into a list on the database.
That's right. So magically, we have a database that I magically created, and that can create it by just doing this. So from now on, right, just assume that whenever I deal with the type DB or the class DV, that is a database. And a database contains tables and places you could keep information. We will go soon into how we accomplish that. It is really not that difficult. It's depending how you get into it. But for now, it's just a magical type that lets us access the database and do stuff with it. And the stuff we're going to be doing is putting information and retrieving information from it. So in the magical database, I have a table called people. And what do you think goes in there? Well, people, right? People information, right? And I could say add and then put whatever I want into that, put the type of person I want to put in there. And then say, hey, I want you to save this, okay? And then I don't want to return anything to the view. I don't want to return any view, so that's all that happens there. So let's take it a step further here. Or actually, no, let's go it step by step, okay? Don't freak out. I'm about to show you something like I showed you last time, okay? Boom. I might have asked you to download this. I'm not sure if you did. It's okay if you didn't, because we might need to install it together. But if not, it's cool. This is a database. Mine is going to look a little bit weird because how my UI is working. But anyway, this is kind of like the overall server. Don't worry about this. And I created a database called Cool Database. And in the Cool Database, I have tables. All these tables you don't have to worry about. They're just crappy tables, all these things over here, right? The ones that we worry about, well, they're not crappy tables. They're important tables, but they are system tables that already exist, and we don't need to worry about too much. Is that cool? Like these guys here?
Sounds good, yeah.
Yeah. They got important stuff in there sometimes, or not in this case, but they got stuff in there that we can't see sometimes, or that we shouldn't. So don't worry about it. Okay. Especially in this one. Okay, so now for now, so how many tables do we have on the tables right now? What do we have?
None.
Yeah, we do. Well, this. Oh, tables usually start with dbo.person or dbopt.something. So right now we have one.
Is that like a database object?
It is. It's a database table, but it is a database object as well. So it's like you guys use Access before?
Long
Yes.
time ago.
Yeah, it's the same thing as an Access table. So I created this table here, and it has information. You got this, and all these things they're just attributes, pretty much, the properties of or columns in the table. Okay, so do you guys see? So we call the table persons, and it has an ID and everything, right? And when we're here, let's say what we're doing is it's like, hey man, I'm going to create a person. I'm going to put this information inside this person object, and then I'm going to create a magical database object, and I'm going to put this person on the people table. And then I'm going to save that. Let's see if it works. All right, did it work? All right, I'm going to refresh this by pressing F5. Oh, look at that. There's Dan. And now he's in the database. So even if a program stops running, or we go somewhere else to execute code somewhere else, this is permanent, pretty much. The database is permanent, it's consistent. All right. So this is going to, actually, I don't know how big of a leap this is going to be, but do you guys see that in this cool database magic, people, right? It's a collection or an array or a list of persons type. That's why I could just grab something of person type and just chuck it in there because it knows it's type. It's like, remember a view that it says like, hey man, I'm gonna be dealing with this type, right? So basically, the database is smart enough to know that you're gonna be dealing with something of the type person, and that's why it's kind of named the same thing, and it has all the stuff. Remember, person is a class. I'm gonna remember what class. You guys remember classes, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to it. Okay, so do not be afraid by all this mumbo jumbo here, right? There's gonna be a lot of mumbo jumbo here. Don't be afraid. I just want you to focus on certain things. Okay. Okay. Um, well, I mean, you could probably figure it out somewhat. Well, let's just forget about this. Just let's deal with what we know about a class. Okay, there are going to be a couple of funny words like partial. You don't have to worry about that. But we know public, class, and person. And we have name, job, just like we did before. That has not changed. We may have, these funny things that say like, hey, this is going to be 50 max. Or so it's just additional information that we want. But I could delete this and I could delete the 50 or anything like that and it will be okay.
The constraints prevent us from running into trouble.
Yes. Oh yes. I could just take him off, but at this time we want to make them like this. Also, in the database itself, that is what they are, kind of. Let me show you. Do you see it says 50? Here? That's why it says 50 here. So when I created the data, the table in the database, I say, hey, do this, and then make it 50. All right. So I'm going to tell you something now. Don't be, it might throw you off a little bit, and it might not, but don't worry about it. If you get it, you get it. If not, we will be getting it later. I probably don't need to tell you this anyway, but this is something cool. Okay. Now, this is going to seem magical, and it is. Okay. So I created person here. Okay, the way I accomplished this, right? I created a table, person, in the database, and I made it. It's very easy to create a table. All you need to do is just create a table. Just say table, and then you create a table with a whole bunch of stuff, right? Name, data type. Let's set envar. car 50, allow nulls, and then job, and the same thing, and var car 50, and then age. Yeah, again, don't be freaked out. Allow nulls, no. All right, and I'm going to I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it. I'm going to call it simple person. All right. I'm going to refresh our tables. And we have simple person table. It's empty because I just created it. And these are, it has 3 columns. And that's not bad, not bad. So again, this table, I want you to tell me something about it. How many columns does it have? What can I put in there? I know it's simple, but just humor me.
How many what does it have?
How many columns or how many pieces of information or properties does it have? Imagine it's a class called simple person. So it has what? Remember these? Yeah, name, a job, and an age. Yeah. Okay, so if I wanted to create the equivalent of this in a class, let's see. I'm just let me just put this over here somewhere. Okay. Don't get yeah. All right. So if I wanted to create the equivalent of this in a class, what would it be like? What would it look like?
Do you guys what var person is equal to
simple person? Well, the name of the class.
Right. Is equal to new person. Oh, you're
oh no. Wrong. Yeah, no. I just want to create this class from scratch. It's I think I'm overthinking it, or we're overthinking it. Yeah. So simple person, I just want a class called simple person that has these 3 properties. So what would
yeah. Want to declare simple person name.
That's right. Well, yeah. String name. Yeah. Well, public string name, yes. All right. Good. What else?
Do the same with job.
Yep. Job. All right. And do the same with age, of course, correct?
We want to do that in right there.
There we go. And that is a class. That is a class. So do you guys see how cool this, we have a cool, simple class. And we have dealt with a class before. Remember, all a class is just a container or something that represents an idea or a thing. And it's a class. And it's some kind of object. Okay. And what I'm getting at is that let's say that there's a framework or some kind of technology that allows you to treat tables as a class, which is sort of kind of what we're doing. So don't freak out. Don't freak out. So do you see how when we do this here? Hold on here. We have a person class here. All right. And all this is just a class. And it has information. But we use the magic of the DB gods here. And through the magic of the DB gods, it's also called Entity Framework, by the way. Let's just call it what it is. Entity Framework, it's the technology. We're slowly going to be there. We're not there 100%, but we will. Entity Framework allows you to treat tables and, well, things in a database as objects or classes. That's why you guys we can kind of sort of interact with the person object, and we can play around and add it to the table. Again, this is not your official introduction to Entity Framework or the real introduction, but this is something for you to be aware of, and this is something for you to know that it's out there, because this is one of the things that most people look for, or in the real world they use. It's called kind of an object mapping, in a way, like database object mapping, and it's very popular. Again, I'll give you guys a true introduction later on, but just throw the idea out there. Okay, so give me 1 second. We have this. All right. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent here. Let me try to look for something here, which I've been kind of looking for. I guess I'll find that later. But anyway, you guys sort of somewhat good with this, I hope. All right, so you guys understand that this is a class, and that we can later, or now, sort of use it instead of or in place of a table. So interact with a table or table records. All right, let's go back to our original thing. Not get confused. Let's go back here. I think the more we do it, the better. Let me just get rid of this here. Okay, so let's continue with our sample. So in your words here, go with the flow again through me. Let's start all the way. I want you to go through the flow here. Let's just do it one by line, and I'm gonna run it. Let's see. Dan, are you ready to go with the flow?
I'll try.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Remember, we're gonna do it line by line. The way you do something line by line is by pressing F10.
Huh, okay.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to create a character. Okay, let's create Trogdor. Of course. Oh, yeah. A job, well, he permanents, I think, of course. And he's, how old is he? Like, let's see. Yeah, 213. Okay, so I'm about to hit create character. All right, Dave, are you with us? Are you with it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm about to create character. And blip. Okay, here we go. So let's take this slowly. Let's do a line by line. I am here, and then, well, what is this supposed to do? What this whole process create character supposed to do?
So we're going to grab information for a new person.
Yep.
We're going to take the name from the name field, the job from the job field, and the age from the age field.
Yes.
Enter those into the
object.
Yes.
The instance of the object, of the type person, correct?
Correct. And from there, we're going to fill that instance into the database.
Okay. And where is that happening? So let me see. So here, Okay, I instantiated here something of type person, right? So now in memory, I have an object in memory. Remember, guys, that's the next thing, man. We got to bang that. We got to bang it hard. Whenever you think about this, remember, you're creating something in memory. You're creating a variable in memory that, it's of some type or something. In this case, is of type person. And remember, you can manipulate, take things out of it, put things in, and do all sorts, and wrap it around and do all, slap it, do anything you want. Okay, so again, I really think it's it's a good exercise to get some paper and pen and draw boxes and put things in there and keep track of all those things, because in your mind you can, of course, but at least start off in paper and keep updating the status of the variables inside in memory. But continuing, sorry. So, okay, I created it and I instantiated something of class person. And then I put in the name. I put in the job. You can tell where I am by the yellow. And then I have these things in the memory. So then I created the magical database object. And through the magic of the database object, what's happening here?
It's taking that information and adding those entries as a instance of a person.
Mm-hmm. So I am adding this. Remember, this is just a list in the database. That's kind of that's really what it is. It's just a list of a class or a list of a certain type in the database, or just a table that has a bunch of information. And in this case, it's people. And we have the keyword add, which of course is add something to the collection. And we're putting in the person in there, and we're saying, hey man, put it in there. And then over here, we have to use the magic words, save changes. This means, hey man, push everything we're been messing around with here, push it to the database. And then we return null because we don't want to return anything right now. Is that clear somewhat? Is that jiggy?
Yes.
Okay, so then I'm going to hit this. All right, so, and then I'm going to return. All right, and since we're not returning anything, we can, let's go see in the database. This is person. And I'm going to do F5. And there's Truckdoor. Pretty nice. Also, notice that since we are not filling these fields in our program, they have a default value. Most of the types have a default value. Strings is null. Again, I'll go over that later. Strings are null. Anything numeric is 0, or most things numeric is 0. That's kind of what you should remember at all times. And if we don't put it, they'll just assume that they'll take their default value. Okay, so this is good here. So let me ask you a question, Dave. This is for you. What can we do? Because we're coming up to here, and we're returning null. We're not really doing anything here. So whenever we're creating a character, we're not doing anything here. We're just returning null. We're not returning any view. Do you have an idea as to what we should return that might make things a little bit smoother or better?
Let's see.
Well, do we have any other pages that we can use? Right now, all we're doing is just creating the character.
We have a display character page.
We do indeed. We do indeed. And so if we go to display character, what does display character do?
It will display the newly added character, Trogdor Permeates.
That's true. That is true. So let's see. Do we still have that? Oh, actually, we don't have that anymore. I think we deleted it. Yeah. But you do remember that we did have that, but we decided that it was better to, instead of display one of them, we decided that it was better to display all of them. Exactly, yeah. So wouldn't you think it's a good, remember, because it's all about flow, all about the flow of information and the flow of things. So tell me what would be a good flow if we create a character and we put it in the database, and then we're trying to please the user. We're trying to make things user friendly. So in your mind, what would be a cool thing to do after we created the character? What would be a cool thing for the user to see?
Return the roster view page.
Exactly. So we should kind of flow into the roster. We should return the roster. We should route it to the roster. And you guys remember a cool roster page, which takes a list of people, persons, and then displays them all. In this case, let me see. I'm going to just let's do this, I guess. That's horizontal line. Just creates a line. But so yeah, so we want to return. So we want to kind of go to another place. We want to go to another place. So I'm going to show you a magic keyword now. Are you ready? Oh yeah.
Ready.
Okay, so let me show you the redirect to action keyword. Yeah. And you give it a name. What action do we want to redirect to?
The new character, display character page?
Well, we don't have that anymore. So it displays, what do we have? You're correct, but we call it roster, remember?
My bad.
Yeah, it is roster. Yeah. So remember, let me ask you guys questions, and I'm about to stomp you. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay. What would happen if I said return view and then just say roster? Remember, think of it as flowing and doing things. Remember, this returns a view.
We didn't push the database into the roster, so the roster is not going to update.
Exactly. Well, we pushed it in. Well, we pushed the person into the database. Yeah.
But not into the view page.
No, not currently. Exactly. Yeah. We're not passing anything to the view page here. This view page, we're like right here. It's all we're doing is just redirecting to that view page. And if we go straight to the view page, what is the first thing that the view page sort of needs and it expects? You guys remember our models. It expects the list of persons. And are we providing it that here? We're not. Because remember, this is very important here. So I hope you guys are definitely paying attention. So this is just a raw view. This is just a view. It doesn't, so all it does is just, hey, go here and go to the roster page. Blip right here. Okay, now what is the difference if I were to return an action, or well, not to return, if I were to redirect to an action, meaning instead of returning the view, I say, hey man, instead of redirecting the view, I want you to go and check out my cool friend, the roster action. Go and check out the roster action and see what's up. So, well, I'm gonna help you here, and I'm gonna go through the flow with you. Okay, so when I say redirect to action, what happens is, well, what do you think happens? Go ahead, tell me. Dave, what do you think happens?
It adds the new person trapdoor to the roster, and then
well, that happens here.
Yeah, it happens there, and it will go back to that roster view page and add it into that roster view page.
Yes, yeah, but again, you guys are not thinking with the flow. You're not thinking step by step. So let's take it step by step once again. Remember, I know you guys are correct, but you're not thinking. Remember, you have to think line by line and step by step and flow by flow, because it's you kind of have to route things around. That's how kind of MVC works. So again, I know I keep repeating this, but this is kind of important that we go through and that you guys understand. So let's see. Let's see. Let's go over one more time, because this is kind of new for you guys. Well, for us. And let's go. So I'm going to create another one. All right, let's create another dude here, girl here. All right. Ooh, I want to create Arwen. That's right. Arwen, I guess she'll be a healer, maybe. I'm not sure.
Archer.
Yeah, an archer. Oh, archer, yeah. Archer, and she's like a bajillion, 5,921. She's 21, I think. She's old. She's very old. Okay, so now, again, let's go with the flow with me. Okay, so I'm going to create it. Shablips. I hit here. We understand this part sort of, so I'm creating a person, type person. I'm putting information into that person object in memory. I open up I summon a database, which is a portal to stuff, portal to keep information safe. And then I throw this person object into the portal with the tables and everything. And I'm keeping, I'm putting it in there, and then I save the changes. So after this line here, you see I'm saying save the changes? Okay, after this, the roster or the people database has been updated. It is actually, like you see, we're kind of in transit here, right? Well, I don't know if it's gonna update, but yes. So do you see in the database, the data is actually there already. So the roster, in essence, or the table, the persons, the people table has been updated. Okay, so now since that is there, so what do you think? So we're here and we're saying, hey, return redirect to action roster. So what do you think this will do in effect, or in essence? Think of it as a flow of traffic. Where are we going? Well, I mean, it says it, right? Like
to the action.
Yeah.
What is it on the game controller?
Oh yeah, it's right here. We're already in here. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So all this is saying, hey man, we're here. We saved some data, and I mean, we already have another place another action that does the job, right? It takes information and displays the roster. We have that down already, right? So instead of rebuilding it or redoing it all over again, I'm just gonna redirect you to the roster action and let those dudes do the work that they already do already, right? Okay, so let's see if that works. So here I'm saying, hey man, redirect to the action roster, and then let's see if that works. Okay, so I'm going to say redirect it to the action roster. Oh, okay. So now, once I am here, this is kind of the equivalent to what? If I'm on a web browser, what is the equivalent to getting here? I'll call out your names. Don't make me call out your names.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm on a browser, like if I am here, how do I get to this action here? I mean, it's pretty easy, right?
Oh.
Yeah, you guys know. It's game/roster pretty much, right? For the game controller and the roster action. Okay, so now, let's continue. Let's continue. So now, what does this do? This creates a list of persons, well, of people, person. And then I create a magical database. I populate this list with, magically, of course. I get the table and I turn it into a list. Again, these are kind of magic words, like, you know, predefined words that you will just have to learn, things like toList and whatnot. So magically, I get information from the database, from the people table, and I put it into roster. And then, you know, turn it into a list. And I go here. View. Okay, so two things that I can do here that I want to show you. One is, how do I want to know the value of in roster, what's inside roster. How do I do that? How can I find out what's inside roster, if anything went inside it? Did I get anything? Dave, how do I find out? What's one way?
Roster dot.
Well, yeah. No, but remember, it's a collection. I just want to know what's inside it. So remember, you can
inside it.
Yeah, so you could hover over it and see the records. Basically, yeah. What I'm asking is, how can I see what I got from the database?
Hover it.
Yeah, so hover over it and say, okay, so we got 5 records from the database, right? And the first one is, you could, so you could sort of tell what information you got from the cool database. And let's see, what's the latest one? There you go, that's the latest one, Arwen and Archer, and that's good. Also, you see, remember that here? There's the locals view, and you could just drop down roster, and it tells you what kind of information came through. And since we are here in the roster action, and we have a list of people, well, list of person, and we're putting that list into the view, and then we're pushing this list into the roster view. And then what should happen, because we are pushing this, so after I do this, where should it go? Do you know? Yeah.
That will take us to the roster page.
Exactly, yeah. Roster page, and then we're going to go here, and then we're going to display it, because that's what we did in this page. We're using a for each to display everything in the list of type person, and for each person in the model, which is the list, we're going to output the job, name, and age. So let's see if that worked. Bam! Look at that. Roster of the greatest adventure party in the world ever. That's right. So this is pretty good. So we're getting into the flow of things. And this is nice. So I have 2 questions for you. Do you guys see how when we're creating, we create we process the character here and we're putting into the database. And do you guys understand how we can redirect to other actions or other views? We can redirect to other views or just return different views. As long as the view is the one you want or is displaying the information that you want, or that you're passing it the information that you want if it requires. So I'm gonna let's go here. Okay, so now tell me what the difference is between, okay, I'm gonna do this. So let me debug breakpoints. I'm just gonna delete all breakpoints for now. And actually, there's a shortcut to delete them all. No, I don't know what it is, but anyway, okay. So here. So, okay, don't lose me here. So, what happens when I go here? The roster action.
It's going to call the information. It's going to go to the controller and request the information from the controller, which is going to go back to the database, and it's going to give us everything we've saved in there. That's going to call us back to the roster to give us the view.
Yep, and then we pass that information to the view. Beautiful. Well, let's see. Boom, look at that. Instant. Okay. All right, so again, we're accessing the roster straight up, boom, the action. And again, let's say game, and then we're going to create a character. All right, let's create Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, geez.
Oh, damn it, I pressed the wrong thing, my bad. Billy Bob Thornton. I reckon he reckons a lot. And I don't know, 47 or something, I don't know. Okay, so I'm creating a character here. And I'm gonna create it, and then we made it. So at the end, it's going to redirect us to the roster page. So it's gonna update the database and then redirect us to the roster page to display it. So these are kind of separate things that are happening. First, we get the information, put it in the object, add it to the database, and then we redirect to do a separate action, which is the roster, which does a different job, which is gets information from the database and displays it using the roster view. Okay, so we're here, blip, and we just added it to the database. We're directing, passing the information, passing it to the action roster. And then there we go, Billy Bob Thornton. He's over here. Again, this is kind of important, and that we repeat it and we keep going, and then we kind of keep banging away at it, because the way the flow becomes natural and second nature. So the way we had it before. Oh, by the way, I'm here in this page where we well, I'm just gonna delete this to give us well, it's fine. All right, so this is where we're processing the character, and we're creating it, put it in the database, and then we're doing something. Before we have return null, and what exactly did that do? We're us returning null. Like, we create the character, put it in the database, and then what happened?
We do nothing from there. We don't return any new
information. Nothing really. You get a blank screen on the next page, and then that's it. Because we're returning nothing. We're not redirecting, returning. We're nothing, and that's fine sometimes. Sometimes you might need that. What happens if I return? Well, if I return or redirect to action roster, which is kind of what we just did. That kind of Yeah, go ahead, Dave. Sorry. Um, I mean, you guys understand what this is doing, right? It redirects to another action, and the action is roster. So basically, just means, hey, do roster's job, the action roster's job. So in essence, we're calling a function here, in a way. You guys see that in a way, sort of? Yeah. We're saying, hey man, just do the job of this action, and this action does a whole bunch of stuff here, um, and returns the view roster. Okay. I mean, that is kind of, you guys got that both of those cases so far, right?
So far.
Okay. Dave, you're good with that too?
Yes.
Okay. So what if I said return view roster? What would happen, or what do you think would happen? Well, let me ask you a few questions. That way, to make it simple for you guys or easier. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Well, think about it. Think about it. See a couple of things that could be different, and give me right back in a few seconds. Hold on. All right. Doña, ¿puedo bajar la televisión un poco, por favor? Gracias. Ya. Eso se oye como si fuera aquí. Sí. All right, I am back. Okay, so what would happen? Okay, what is one thing that would happen, or that would not happen? Dave.
Let's see. It will not show the newly added character.
Correct. Okay. Dan, what would or would not happen?
Sorry, I typed my response.
Oh.
Instead of performing the roster, it'll just take us to the view.
Exactly. Yeah. So remember, this is saying go straight to go and do not collect. Yeah. This is saying, yeah. What is, yeah, go straight to go and don't collect $200. That's what it's saying. It's saying basically, hey, return the view. And again, remember, views for themselves, they're pretty dumb. They're supposed to be dumb. They're not supposed to have a lot of information or a lot of complex things like actions do, right? At least a little bit more complex anyway. Like actions do. All a view does is just display information of containers or models that you pass it. I mean, it probably a bit more than that, but that is the kind of their purpose. So here we're saying, hey man, return the view. Okay, so I'm going to return the view. Okay, so now follow along with me because this is important. This is good flow right here. Okay, I'm going to return the view, and then I'm going to go straight to the view. Shazam. Okay, so now I'm in the view. All right, so I get roster, the greatest adventure party in the world. Cool, it displays that, no problem. And then it says like for each var person model. And then it says like, hey man, I'm looking for a model here, but where's it at? Where's it at? So did we pass it a model or any information with the model? Remember, all we said is
Not
just
this time.
Not this time, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm asking right here. Because again, you see, we didn't pass it anything. Like here, we pass it, you see view, because this is roster here, right? We're passing it this list of persons. But in here, we're not passing it anything. I mean, we could pass it something if we wanted to. But in this case, we're not. So when it gets to the roster saying, hey man, you pass me an empty model, I'm going to crash. F you. And then it crashes because this thing is empty. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. Or it's not gonna do anything because it's null, and it's not gonna basically do anything anytime. Not gonna display anything because there's no persons. Okay. So again, talking about the flow here. So if I do this, what is the next step on the flow here? It says return view roster. So where am I going from here?
We go to the roster page.
Exactly. Yep. I go to the roster page, the roster HTML. I go straight there. Boom. And I go straight. I don't collect 200. Go straight to the dump page, the display page, and not. Sometimes that is okay. 100%. 100%. But in this case, since this page requires that you pass some information to it, it's not the greatest. Okay, so now, we understand the flow for this page here. All right, so what about, where does the flow go to here? Where's the next step in the flow?
Redirect to roster action.
Exactly, so it goes, blam, this is the next step in the flow, so we're not stopped here. We keep the party going. We're keeping the party going, and we're going down. Look at that. So then we go down the party over here. We get some information from the database magically, and we put it into a list. And then the party continues, and then we have the roster view, right? We return that, and we're returning a list. I mean, we're kind of putting a list in there. So here, where's the flow from here? What view? Well, in returning a view, but yeah.
The roster view.
Exactly. And we're passing it a list this time. We're passing it information, a model of some sorts, right? And this time it's going to go, okay, roster of the greatest event party in the world. We're good. And then it's going to say, okay, for each person in the model. And then this time it's going to say, hey, man, these guys passed me some information. We have information here. So then we're going to do stuff because we have cool info and we're going to display it for those guys or girls, whoever's passing it. And so that is cool. So the flow ends here and it goes to the page here. So it ends on the page. And where does the flow continue or end if I do this?
It stops right in its track. It doesn't return any page.
Yeah, right there, man. We're boned. We're done for. We're done for right here. Just like that dude, Dick Flanders. So good. So for all intents and purposes, I think, as I say, this is the best action right here that we can do because this continues the flow. Then, and that's what we want to do. We want to return and continue. All right. So so far so good, right? So now we have a cool, we have a cool page here. Oh, where is it? Now we have a database, and we have a roster that we could add people to, and it's pretty cool. And so what can we do here? What can we do? So we have a list of people here, and we can add people to the database, and which we have been doing. What is another cool thing that we can do? What do you think? Well, let's go. Let's see. Let's create. Let's see if we can improve the flow of our pages. How about that? Let's say. So remember, it's all about flow of user friendliness. You want to improve the flow of your UI and how you interact with the user. So, I think we had an index. Did we have an index page for this? I think so. Game.
We started with a default, but I think we got rid of it.
Oh, we did? Oh, that is a shame. Well, let's see. Do we have any? Oh, it's still there, I think. Let's see. Index. There you go. Index. Okay, yeah, so we have an index page somewhat. So this is cool. So we have a pretty cool, somewhat index page. It doesn't look that great. Okay, so let's say that this is the beginning of our sweet page here. And I want to create a character here because I'm a game just started. It's like, hey man, welcome to our sweet game, and this game is awesome indeed. And I want to create a character. So what do I need here? Anyone know? Well, yeah.
We would want to link them to the character.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So remember, yeah, this is you guys got to think about these things. It's like, so we want to link here because they're not gonna know to do /game/create character 5 or Jiggy or something like that, right? We have to display and tell them what they can do and what they cannot do.
A stop button.
Well, yeah, that is that is well, yeah, that's actually pretty good. But okay, yeah. For now, let's just say create character, a create character link, or a start button link. They both do the same thing, I guess. But those are both good answers. You guys got me there. But for now, let's just
Nintendo games.
no, that's good. That's good. But for now, let's start with create character. Okay, so, well, so yeah, we have a create character here, and well, we're here. So from here, we can create a character. What else can we do? Let's keep it simpler. Um, what else do we have access to? I come to your game. Exactly, yeah. So let's say at the beginning, I just want to see who's playing, man. I want to see if Bobby here is playing this game, and I want to go see the roster. So how do I do that? I need a link to the roster, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that. This is our game. This game is awesome. Okay, so let's put it in here then. Let's put it in here.
Anchor.
And yeah, it's gonna be a sweet anchor.
H.
There you go. href. Do you guys remember the anchor tag? How it is? Beautiful. So I think the way it works is you tell it where it is. So I think in here it's gonna be from where we are, and it's gonna be what is it? Where? Well, what action do we want it to go to?
Game.
That's right.
And, roster.
That's right. There we go. And what do we want to? Let's see. View. Roster. Okay. Okay, well, let's see if that works. I'm going to refresh it. It might not work. Then again, it might, but we'll see. Oh, let's do that on a different line here. So let's break it. Yeah. And let's just do an HR, just give it a there you go, view roster. So how can I see, what is the fastest way that I can tell where this is going to if I click it? Well, you just hover over. Yeah, that's true. But you could hover over links too and see bottom left.
Game roster.
Okay, so that's somewhat correct, right? So let's see if it works. Okay, are we ready? Okay, so let's see. I'm going to click it. Boom. It went to the roster. So that is pretty nice. So it sort of worked, right? Well, actually, not sort of work. It actually worked. But I'm here and I see the roster. Remember, what if I want to go to the main page? What are we missing here? What can we do? How can we make it easy? I'm stuck here, guys. Where can I go?
Are you saying we want to, instead of adding all these links, we should just add a bar to the template? We can put them all on all the pages.
Well, we could, but that's advanced stuff. Let's keep it simple. But yes, that ultimately yes. But for now, we could just put a link here saying go back to the main page or something, right? We could put it in on top over here.
We could, yeah.
Yeah. Or I mean, we could just do the whole template thing. But for now, let's keep it simple. I think. So how could I put a link here on top here that says, because remember we want to navigate, we want the navigation to be to flow, be smooth. Here I just hit this page and I'm like, ah shit, what can I do? I'm stuck. So let's go back. I want a link that says, hey, go back to the main page. Okay, so how do I do that? Anyone know? The roster page, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the roster page, let's say, give it an H2 or something. I don't know. And what do we have here? What should we have? A link, maybe?
Yes.
A link. I'll just jump back to main. And href. What's the href? What's the address?
Game/index.
That's right. Damn, you guys are good. Give it up for Sexual Chocolate. Everybody.
What now?
Sexual Chocolate. Coming to America.
Oh, nice.
Coming to America, man. Sexual Chocolate. Give it up. Let's see. America. Alright, you guys gotta. Yeah.
I think they're making a reboot of that movie.
No way.
Yes, they are.
Hold on.
I heard about it.
This is the greatest movie of all time. Okay, right here, sorry. God damn it. There you go. Sexual Chocolate, damn it. There you go, yeah. Sorry, this is a must. I suggest, yeah, rewatch the movie. It's amazing. Sorry about that.
We might just do that. Don does like Murphy.
Oh man, it's one of the greatest. It is one of the greatest. Watch it every chance I get. Okay, so here, so we have back to the main, man. Look at that. So now, I'm gonna go back to the main here. Boom. I'm gonna go watch the roster, like check out the roster. Bam, right? And then I go back, bloop. I go blip and bloop. So not bad, not bad. So now I can see the roster. Okay, I see that Jimmy John is playing this game. And I want to create a character, man. So how can I create a character from the main page? What do I need to do?
Make a link.
That's right. So let's go to the index. So I have an index for the roster. And now let's do the same for, what is it called? What is it? Create. Is it create character? It has been a while. Yeah, create character.
Right.
Let's see. Okay. And we're going to call it create character. Okay, so I just refreshed it and boom, we have create character here. And I'm gonna click it. Is this red good for you guys? You want some guys like purple or yellow or something? All right, that's fine though. That's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna create a character. I'm gonna click it, blam, and then I'm gonna create. Let me see, Paul. Damn, I can't think of any Paul there. Paul. He does stuff, and then he's 111. Okay, so I'm gonna create it. So remember, we have it all set up. So the flow goes, create it, and then automatically at the end after I create it, go to the roster page. Boom. Is Paul here? Is he doing stuff? Yes.
Appears to be.
Yes, he is, man. He's always doing stuff. And here we go. And then if I wanted to go back, I go here, blam. Because I created this page, boom, boom. Look at this. This is nice. This is beautiful. Let's say, though, that I am here in the create character. And, you know, I don't want to create a character anymore. I want to go back to the main. So we sort of need a way to go back here as well, right? I mean, it sort of makes sense, I think, in a way. So let's just put like this code here. And let's do it in the create character as well. Let's see. Beautiful. So now we have a pretty cool way of well, let me go back to the main. I want to see the roster. I want to see what's going on here. How many people? Okay, I got Arvid in there, nice. Got Dan, got Baron, gotta get Dave in there too. And we have a lot of people, remember. I don't know, man, we got too many people. I think we need to kill a few of these people because we need to make room. You know?
Yes.
Or let's just say that when they went venturing and they got killed, or they got KO'd, or they terminated or something. So we need a way of getting rid of these dudes or you know, or characters. This is gonna be a little tricksy.
Are we gonna make a kill page?
Oh yes. Oh, that's a great idea, man. I wasn't even thinking about a kill page, but that is even better. Holy crap. That is even better. That is it's a good way of showing, you know, showing this off here. But before we move on to killing people, how do you feel about what we're doing here in the flow of things? Is it somewhat okay? Are you with it? Do you understand what we've done so far?
Doing pretty good.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay, so again, look at that. We got a roster. We got a main page. One thing that I wanted to say though, do you see how we're kind of putting all the stuff we're learning and putting all the different technologies that we're learning and we're using them, we're starting them to use together, right? It's kind of part of the whole, you know, the plan, right, and the point.
Yeah, we gotta build it all up.
Yeah, it's part of the stack. So, for example, yeah, you know, we're using HTML, you know, maybe some CSS and whatnot, and we're doing middle tier. We're pretty decent here. And we've done a little bit of database, very little, but you guys sort of understand what the database is and that we could put stuff in it and we could take stuff out of it. And we're kind of putting it together because that's kind of the full stack. The important thing to understand here and to accept is that even though, like, this is sort of the beginning still, like, just knowing how everything connects and how it's used together, that's kind of when it really starts, because that's when you know, soon we're gonna do some HTML and then, you know, maybe throw some JavaScript to make it nicer, you know, kind of build upon what we learned before and get robust and make some of the things more robust of what we learned so far, especially in the HTML and user interface parts. I mean, you guys sort of understand that and accept that, right? Because all we're doing, like, right, with HTML and CSS and JavaScript and jQuery is, you know, it's very simple. I mean, but in order to have a legit website that looks a little bit better, we need to at least spend some time to make it make it look okay. And you need to fiddle with things and learn all sorts of different tricks. But we have the basics of what is needed. I mean, we don't need all of that. We can make websites that look okay somewhat, and they do their job. But it is our job to kind of always try to improve um, everything that we do, especially when it comes to UI. Are you good with that? Do you agree? I mean, that's kind of
Yes.
Agreed.
okay. Good, good. But yeah, I mean, just because our web page look like this now, it doesn't mean that they always will. We will be making them better. Uh, but at least we know that we worked on this and that it works, and we can create users and all sorts of stuff, and that's the important part. But anyway, so now back to the main, and but I want to kill people, man. I want to kill people. So let's let's create a kill page. Oops, sorry. Let's create a kill page.
Oh
Ouch,
dear.
that is loud. Are you okay, Dave?
He's got a swarm of angry mosquitoes.
Yeah, I think it's the vacuum. You might want to mute him for now. Do Dave, are you alright? Hold on. Dave, are you good? Maybe one might want to set push to talk or something.
Hello?
Dave, are you
Yeah,
okay?
I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, that was very loud. Are you
Yeah,
okay?
so I took out my microphone and input out immediately.
Oh, okay. No worries. Um, yeah, so you're good now, somewhat.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Next time I'll just have to like hit mute or something or push the talk. But anyway, okay, great. We're back. We're still running, and so yeah, so we want to create characters now, but man, we got too many people, man. We got too many people. Billy Bob Thornton, man, we gotta get rid of that bitch. So let's create a kill page. All right, so
So delete character.
yeah, well, let's call it kill page. Let's not,
Kill
yeah,
character.
kill character or something. Okay, so well, it's up to you guys. How do I create a kill character page? I don't know. You gotta tell me.
I mean, it's fun calling it a kill page, but it might
Yeah.
not be a bad plan to have it just be like an admin page in general.
A what?
Administration.
Well, let's keep it single. Administration can mean a lot of things for now. Let's call
That's
it
true.
delete page.
We could, yeah.
Because administration page is sort of the first page in a way because you administer things. But yes.
Eventually, you'll want multiple ways to get rid of characters.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Okay, so for now, I mean, you tell me. How do I create Well, what do we call it? Kill character.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah. Kill character. How do I kill a character? I'm over here.
We wanna
What do we need? What are a few things that we need?
possibly copy paste our one of our other pages.
Okay. So
Just to grab the view, I guess. Really.
okay, so let's grab the create character view and copy it. Okay. Is that what you want to do?
I guess it's actually a lot of work. We could just create a new view.
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, it's we could.
Yeah.
It's up to you guys. Well, let's just create a new view. Well, I'm just gonna copy paste it, but I'm leaving
It works.
for you. Paste it, and we're gonna call it kill character. Okay. And we're dealing with kill character here. So I am just going to delete everything in it because that's what I'm going to do. So remember, this is up to you guys. You have to think about this. So I'm creating a page that I want to kill characters. I want to kill a character. So it's opposed to creating a character, which I'm kind of asking, hey, give me information about the character you want to create. Okay, so what would be on the kill character page? What's up?
We'd probably want to grab a list of characters that we can kill.
Yes, that would be kind of the roster, sort of. But I hear you.
Well, I guess it would depend on how we want to go about doing it. If we just wanted to like enter a name and see if it exists and kill it.
Exactly. Well, let's do it. Yeah, let's keep it the simplest. Let's say that way we can evolve into this. Let's just say you provide a name, and then we kill the person with that name. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, again, so I have a kill character sheet here. So what do I need to do? Well, I mean, sound it out. Okay, Dave, what's the next step here? Give me the goods.
Make a form.
That's right. God damn it, Dave. That's right. That's some good shit right there. Okay, yeah, we got a form, man.
Okay.
Okay. We got a sweet form.
Post.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And what do you guys want to call the action we want to submit this to? Well, just kill character, I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then, what do we need? What's up?
The character's name and.
Well, yeah. Which character to kill?
Character to kill.
And then, what do I need?
Person's name.
Yeah, but what? Person's name, what? Remember, it's a form, so what kind of field do I need?
Text input?
That's right, yeah. So it's an input, yeah. So remember, whenever, don't forget, type text, because remember, you're getting information. This is a form, and you're getting information from the user. And let's call it name. Let's call it name. All right. Remember, this is what's going back to this is what the form is sending to the server. Anything with this ID. Okay, so we have which character to kill. That is cool. This is good stuff. So, do we need anything else?
Submit.
That's right. That is right. All right. Kill player. That's right. Okay, so now we have a sweet form, and the form takes a name, and that is the name of the person that we're going to kill once we press this. And we're going to submit it to controller game and kill character action. So what are we missing, and what do we need to do?
We still need to link that up in the controller.
That's right. See, you guys are forgetting about that. So, well, first we're missing something. So, kill character. So, how can I get to kill character? We're not. We're in the controller. But is there any way to access that kill character page?
No, you have to build it.
That's right. Well, we build the kill character page, but now we need an action to get it, right? So public view result, and what do we call it?
Kill character.
That's right. Damn, you guys are on fire today. Kill character, and then remember, this is just getting the view. So all we're doing is just return, and we're just returning a view here. And since we have the action called kill character, and we're returning the view, and it's going to return the view called killed character because of that magic word that I forgot, but it's magic out there. Convention, I think, yes, by convention. And then we're going to go here. This is going to return this. Blip. So far we have the view, and it's going to go here. Okay, so what else do we need? What else are we missing? We have the view that displays the form. What else do we need? Well, let's run it. Well, can you guys tell me, Dan, what's missing, or is everything cool?
I mean, as far as up to this step, I'm not sure if we're missing anything, but we haven't actually gone through the database to remove the character.
No, we have not. We're well, exactly. So what are we missing? Well, let's run it and see what we're missing, because that's actually a good idea to stop what we're doing and then run it and see where we're at in the process. Okay, so let's see. Let's run it. We are running it. Okay. Since well, let's go to the main game index. Okay. Can we access it from here? No, we cannot, because we have not added a link. Okay, so since we have not added a link, how can I access it directly? Game. How could I get to the action?
Kill character.
There we go. So I'm gonna go to it. There we go.
Hey.
So we're like, hey man, which character you want to kill? All right. Okay, so I'm gonna say Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah, I'm gonna kill Billy Bob Thornton here. And then I'm gonna hit kill player. What will currently happen if I hit kill player? Well, first of all, how do I find out what action is this form submitting to?
Hover around kill player.
Yeah, after you F12, right? You forgot F12. Magic word. Yeah. Well, no, hovering doesn't do anything. Remember, only with links. This is a button. But I want to know where the form is going to submit to. So F12. I click on this. Okay, man, let's see. You got an input here. Oh, okay, so here's the form. And this form is submitting to the game controller and the kill character action. And the method is post. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you guys a trick. It might confuse you, or not. Actually, I don't know if I want to do this, but well, so far, I mean, are we missing anything? We're missing the action that deletes the actual character, right? That receives the information from from the form. So let's create that. Let's create the action that, in this case, right? Let's go back to kill character. So remember how we had before process create character, and that is what kind of took care of processing the character. You guys remember? Like in the create character, we're submitting to process create character action. This is what our form is submitting to.
I didn't realize. I forgot about that. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got you. I got you now.
Okay, yeah, no, I know because there's a little disconnect here, which I kind of forgot. Yeah, so it's submitting to that. And then we have something called process create character, which again accepts these things, these properties, and creates it and puts it in the database and all that stuff. Now let me know if this confuses you at all. Okay, so now let me know. I will change it back if it does it anyway. Okay. I will ask you if it makes sense or not. If it doesn't make sense, I will change it. Okay. So, do you guys see two actions? They have sort of the same name. You guys see it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, do you see one has HTTP post?
Yep.
And one does
Yep.
not? Okay. So, what if I were to tell you, imagine you're like in the Matrix and I am Neo, right? You're outside. Okay. What if I told you that these two actions can have the same name, but if you do a normal get, like you're not dealing with a form, it is always going to go here. But if you're doing a post, it's going to go here, even though it has the same name.
Okay.
That makes sense, right? It's pretty. Yeah.
I mean, it's reasonable, although the duplicate is, somewhat unexpected.
Yeah, yeah. So they're kind of different things, because also this expect information in a way, and this one, it's a little different. This is just to display the view. So basically, remember, because there's two phases. One, you get the form, and one, you process the form because you're submitting with HTTP, with post to here. You don't have to use the same name. You could just say something like process kill character. But then you would have to submit the form to process kill character. Like here, you see we have kill character. We will have to submit to process kill character. So either one, whichever you prefer. Well, let's try both, because let's try different ways here. Let's try, because the create one we did one way. Let's do this one a different way, just to be cool. All right. It actually doesn't matter the casing, but just to be jiggy. All right. So this makes sense. We have a form. We're gonna create. We're gonna submit to kill character because that's what we are doing in the kill character form. And this is the name that it's expecting. I mean the variable that we're gonna pass over is called name, and we're gonna process it. We're gonna put it here, and then we're gonna do stuff with it. So now, what do we want? What do we want? What we want to do? What's up? All right. So let's think about it. We have a name. What name? So let's say we enter a name, and then we finally have a name here, and ideally sound it out. Say it for me. What do we want to do? What's the job? What's the whole reason why we're creating this particular action?
We want to narrow down our roster. We get rid of that person.
That's right. So in effect, we are what? What are we doing to it from the database?
Deleted.
Yeah, we're deleting it. Okay, so I'm about to use magic words and whatnot, right? Right now. So if we're gonna be messing around with the database, what is the one thing I need? Do you guys remember?
A DB.
That's right. Man, guys, I'm on point today, man. On point. Seriously. Yeah. So from now on, so this creates a connection to the database because it's magic. So this is creating a data, a person. This creates a connection to the database. And let's see. And do I have what's the name of the table in the database that I can access to mess around with people? You guys remember?
Cool database.
That's right. Well, in this one, it's just called database. I renamed it somewhat. But yeah, you're correct. Cool database, and how many? And we have the people table, right? There we go. So remember, this is the same as messing around with this. See, we got a whole bunch of people here. Okay, so now, and let's see now, what do we want to do here? So I have a name, and I'm about to use some cool magic now. So now, whenever we mess around with this type of database, you need to do things in a certain step. Number one, get what you want to manipulate. We really should be taking notes, but it's fine.
So that's the keyword there, get.
In a way, yes. Let's see, database. All right. And again, I promise to give you guys better notes soon. Okay. I guess this goes all the way left over here. All right. Yeah, just in your mind. Okay, so for now, make believe that var, I'm going to be using var a little bit more often now. Var is just a variable that can pretty much be anything that is returned. I'll show you what it is in a better, in a second. Var, I'm gonna name it person to kill, it's just a variable. And then I'm gonna say, I'm gonna use some kind of weird text right now. Don't freak out. So I'm gonna search the database, or I'm gonna search the people table. The way I do that is I'm going to say where. So I'm looking for things in the database. So, and I have a name, right? So if I'm looking at this data here, so which of these guys, if I'm looking for Billy Bob Thornton, right? So what am I comparing to, or what am I looking for on this table?
We're looking for their name.
Exactly, yeah, where the name is what?
Billy
Yeah, Billy Bob
or
Thornton.
Bob or
Mhm.
Thornton, or depending on how we want to.
Yeah, well, for now, let's do it straight up, this thing. Yeah, so basically, we're looking for a field. We're looking in the field name, or the column name, for a certain name. In this case, is Billy Bob Thornton, correct? All right. So again, this notation is going to seem a little bit weird, but don't get freaked out. Name equals, I'm just going to copy paste Billy Bob Thornton here. Oh, actually no. Name equals what? What name do we want to delete, or what name are we looking for? Well, this guy here, right?
Oh,
Yeah, sorry, I kind of.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my bad. Okay. And actually, you know what? I am just gonna. Yeah, actually, that's this. I just want one. So just do first or default. I just want the first one in the list. All right. Again, don't get too hung up on these. As long as you understand that we're looking for something where the name is equal to this. I will find a better way to do this, but this is kind of the short way. I mean, a simpler way. But anyway, so after here, we have found a person to kill. And this is a person. So this is currently, this returns a person. This returns one person because this is what we're looking for. And so now we have the person that we want to kill, that we want to remove from the database. So how do you think we need to do that? How do you think we should do that? Well, we're messing with the database, right? Well, how did we create people in the database?
Add.
Exactly. So in this case, we want
Remove.
them. That's right. Look at that. Damn. God damn.
Jesus, that was a lucky guess.
That's good, man. That's good. So I want to pass something to remove, to remove here. So do I have a person that I have found that I want to remove? Yes. In this case, that would be person to kill. That is the object or the person I want. And then I'm going to save it. Database dot save changes. Shablips. And then, if I return null, I'm returning a null here, right? And then the action stops, man. So instead of the action stopping here, what do I want to know, or what do I want to see after I try to kill a character? Remember, think of it as a flow. Think of it as the UI. Think of it as a user clicking on something and getting information back. That's what it's all about.
Want to return action for the roster page?
That's right. God damn it. Yes. So I'm gonna redirect to action. And this is the same thing. All this just redirects and shows the roster page. So updated roster page because this kind of affects the roster, right? When you create one, you're affecting the roster. And so we want to redirect and display the new roster. This gets all the new information. And in here, we want to sort of do the same. Okay. Redirect to action. View result. It's an action result, sorry. My bad. It's the same thing. Don't worry about it. Action result. And yes. Okay. So this is somewhat good here. Somewhat good here. Now. Should we run it? See what happens? All right.
Yes.
Running it.
We want to get rid of Billy Bob.
Yeah, Billy Bob, man. Billy Bob's gonna be out.
Blow him away like that, Tin Cup? That airplane?
Yeah, the airplane. Yeah, it was that. Oh, I think he was hanging out with, damn it, Angelina, I think, that time, too. Like, yeah, Billy Bob. Okay, so I'm gonna go straight to kill character because we have not created a link for it yet on the main page. And, okay, so... Damn it, where's Billy Bob?
Man, he wants to get rid of your characters there.
Yeah, it's like, it's really, it's like 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's see. So we're gonna do this line by line, right? If it works. Let's see. We're ready. Okay, let's go through the flow. Okay, they're gonna ask me, hey, who do you want to kill? Let's kill Billy Bob. Okay, I'm about to submit. This submits to this action. And let's see. Boom. Okay, so first step, we got to the action, so we must be doing something right. What is the next thing I need to check? Well, the next thing is, well, did the information from the form come through? So what information we want to pass? We want to pass a name here, right?
Yeah.
So it would be passed into this variable here. So it says Billy Bob Thornton. So we were successful in passing the information to the action. I reiterate that, and I'm going to keep banging it because it is very important to always check whether or not the information is flowing. You're going to spend hours sometimes just looking for something that is so silly, and spending a lot of time in something that is as simple as, hey, the information didn't go through because it has the wrong name or something. Okay, so information went through. We're here. Okay, we got the magical database object. Boom. All right, next one. We query the database object with the people table and say, hey, man, give me all where the name of the people, basically the name of the people, is equal to the name that we got from the form. And this is just oogly googly for just give me the first. Okay, so got some list and returned the first. So this should be equal to Billy Bob Thornton, the object, if it is in there. Okay, so let's see, did it find it? Okay, how do I check if it found it? Or if, yeah. Anyone know? How do I check?
Hover over.
Oh, or what?
Database.
Not database, the person object here. That's right, person to kill. Did we find, okay, let me give you the good news. If it did not find a person, this would be null. It would be empty, yeah. If it did not find whoever it was looking for, this would be null. But if it finds somebody, it is a person object, and it gets all the information. You see Billy Bob Thornton, his job he reckons, his ID is 8, his ID is 8 actually, and his age 47. So we found it, right? Which is good. So now on this thing we say, okay, hey man, I want you to remove this person. And this person happens to be Billy Bob Thornton. So I say, boom, remove it, save those changes, and then redirect to the roster and display me the roster. Okay, so I'm going to press it. And then we go back. And boom! Is Billy Bob in there?
Nope.
No, he's not. And so here we have the old view. So I'm going to refresh it by pressing F5. And there you go. Billy Bob is not there anymore, which is pretty cool. All right, so are you guys good with this, right? Okay, actually, let me ask you a question before we continue. Can I create a character with the same name? Is there anything preventing me from doing so?
No, there's not.
There is not. Same thing for job or age or anything. And that is fine because people are allowed to have the same name sometimes. They could have same name, different jobs, same name, different age, and whatnot. So I need a way to differentiate, or at least I need the date. Yeah. Oh, which way?
We have an ID.
Oh man, look at that. That's a great that's a great eye. I did not see that. That is good. That is good. So yes. So we have an ID. So I have created something which is called well, it's an ID column, but it's a special column that is always unique. So whenever I create a new person, we don't mess around with this ID when we create it. The system creates it by itself, and it assigns it the next logical number. So we don't need to worry about it. But internally, if I say, hey man, delete ID 5, who is it going to delete? It's going to delete Dan, right?
Oh no.
Yep. Oh, yep. Or delete 6. Truck door. Yep. Also, don't get confused by these dudes all the way over here. That's just a numbering. That's not part of the table. That's just helping you to count how many rows. This is the real deal here. Yeah, so it's an ID and it's unique. And it's very important to have unique values on tables because that way you can access or get values very easily. I will tell you why later. But again, this is important that you have a unique value like an ID to represent each item on a table. It makes it much easier to do certain things. So that is that notion is kind of important here. Okay, so I have deleted it, and we have this here. Well, we're missing one thing. Before we go back to the delete, I think we need a delete page here, right? Kill character. We need a link, I think. Yeah. So let's create this. And it's going, instead of create character, it's going to kill it. Kill character. And let's refresh. There we go. And let's test it again. Let's kill Arwen. I know. That's mean. Okay. We check it out. We look around. instantiate some database magic. Look for that. And put it here. Delete that person. Save it. And then go to the roster. And our word is gone. So, and then if we want to go back to the main, view roster, go back to the main, kill character. Well, we don't have to go back to the main, but I will cheat. And let's see, let me put this in kill character over here. So remember, this is all about going from one place to another. We could go back and forth, make it nice. Okay, so we're shaping up. You know, our website is shaping up, and we're understanding. We're understanding how information is flowing from one place to another, and to the database. So I know this part is probably a little bit tricksy. Don't worry about it. I will try to create something to maybe make it a little bit, you know, a little less complicated, because this, I know that this is kind of gobbledygook. I think I'll try to make it maybe a wrapper or something, or not, or I could just leave it like this. Up to you guys. But you guys understand that this removes a person. That's an important thing. Do you guys get this part here? Like if I say people, remove, and then remove something. And then this, we get it by querying some kind of database or saying, hey, give me this. Yeah, so don't get hung up on this. This will take time to understand and get. Don't worry about that so much. Okay, so I mean, so far so good, man. We have a website, we have a game index, we have a roster, and we have, we can create characters, and we can kill characters, and they refresh itself, and the flow is perfect. The flow from one place to another is good. And I mean, we will probably expand. We will expand on this. But I think this is where we're going to stop today. And how do you feel about, how much have you gotten or grasped of the stuff we're going on? You know, is it legit? Do you guys get most of it? Get the idea?
Getting the idea, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna zip this up and give it to you guys, so you guys can take a look at it and read. But so we're at a pretty important point where we can access a database, we can save information to the database, then not only save, but you can delete. And well, later on we will need to edit users as well, right? Because what if somebody wanted to change jobs, or wanted to change their age or weapons or anything like that? So we need a way to edit the information of each person on the roster, right? Right now we don't, and we have very limited information. We just have this, and this. So what if the person's birthday, we need a way to change the age, right? And we don't have that right now. We just have access, or we can just delete, or we can just create. But again, so we still have the basic and most important and very powerful tools. We can create pages, and we can display information on those pages, and we have a database that we can get information from, so we can display that. Start thinking. So just, I know we're almost done. So one last question. So we can pretty much create most web pages, or at least to some degree, with the stuff that we've learned. I mean, I'm talking about easy pages where, like, hey, you go to a web page, it has a form. It's like, hey, man, fill out this form. And then you fill it out and you send it somewhere to an action, and the action does something. The action can either save all that information to the database so we can spam them with email later, or you can process some payment or do something cool, or just display the information, or do something, do math or whatever we want on that information. But so far, I think we're in a pretty point where we can do useful stuff, at least a little bit. But anyway, are we good for tomorrow to keep rocking? What's up?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay. So again, I entreat you to go over this, and I don't know if you can run it. You probably will not be able to run it because you don't have the database. But look at the code. Or you could just create your, just comment out the database code and just pass your own information, create your own list, populate the list, and just pass information to it. I will also be giving you guys assignments soon because that's when, that's the best way to learn. Yeah. And I'll probably set up some, yeah.
I did set up a database thing. I'm not sure if I did it correctly or according to our workflow.
Mm-hmm.
There were an awful lot of options, so I just kind of ran through it. But
all right. I mean,
at some point, if we want to go through that and make sure everybody's on the same page, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah, no. I actually, that's I think one of the things we need to do after we create the edit page. I'm gonna uninstall it, and then I'm just gonna install it from scratch, and I'm gonna show you how we created this and how we connected it to the Visual Studio, which is pretty sweet. But yeah, we'll do that.
Cool.
Yeah, and then again, I mean, once you have a database, it's really powerful. And I'm probably gonna get a one of those cloud databases anyway, so we could all use it and without having to worry about it too much. Worrying about it too much. All right, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, you guys a little something and learned, and keep doing the do.
Woo.
All right. Later. Rest your brains. I know we banged it hard today. Later.